Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It is so incredibly annoying when it happens. You are talking freely and happily in English, and then, dramatically, everything stops. The world stops, your mind stops, and most frustratingly, your conversation stops. You've blocked. You've frozen. You can't find that perfect word. Or maybe you know the grammar rules, you can write an essay, but when a real person asks you something simple like, "So, what do you do?" your brain goes completely blank. If this happens to you, you are absolutely not alone. Feeling blocked or freezing up when speaking a foreign language is a very common struggle for language learners around the world. Today, we are going to dive deep into these challenges, giving you the practical solutions you need to unlock your voice, face those moments without fear, and truly stop freezing in English. We have 6 common reasons why you might freeze up or feel nervous when it's time to speak English. We're going to tackle these traps, and then we'll give you actionable strategies, from mental preparation to specific word-finding techniques to keep the flow going and remove that hesitation while speaking English. Why do I get stuck while speaking English? Let's start with the question, why do I get stuck while speaking English? The anxiety you feel when you block is real, and there are several reasons why our minds stall like a computer trying to run too many programs at once. One of the first big problems is what we call overthinking. When your brain thinks too much before you speak, you treat every word like a big challenge. Instead of just speaking, learners repeat the word in their head again and again. This is like standing next to a swimming pool. You know the water is safe, but if you wait too long, swimming feels more scary. The second major trap is the fear of making mistakes. Many of us are perfectionists and hate the thought of sounding silly or getting something wrong. This fear can be so strong that it completely paralyzes us, making it difficult to speak at all. People often worry about their accent or pronunciation, or they fear being judged, which feels worse than actually saying the wrong word. Remember, honestly, most people aren't making a list of your mistakes. They forget small errors in seconds, but they remember your smile and confidence. Thirdly, the problem might be translation in your head. Many learners try to change every word from their own language into English. Imagine you are at the airport and the staff asks you, "How can I help you?" Your brain works like a machine. First, you hear the English, then you translate it into your language, then you think of the answer in your language, and finally, you try to change it back into English. That's 4 steps. No wonder your speaking stops and starts, and you feel incredibly slow. Next up, we have the infamous grammar monster. This is when you stop because you think too much about grammar. For example, the teacher asks, "How was your weekend?" And the learner thinks, "Should I say I went or I have gone?" While they think, the conversation keeps going and the chance to speak is gone. Finally, there is the pressure of speaking in real time. Unlike writing or reading, speaking requires us to think on our feet and respond quickly. And this overload of rules and vocabulary can cause our minds to go blank. If you haven't practiced enough, you might feel rusty.
How to not freeze up and remove hesitation. Now for the good news. This problem has solutions. We're going to look at practical steps to help you overcome these obstacles and boost your confidence completely. 1. Preparing your brain, visualization, and openers. One of the most common reasons we freeze is because we do not know how to begin. Those first seconds of a conversation feel heavy. The solution is to prepare what we call automatic openers. These are short, friendly sentences that act like keys to open the door to conversation. They are simple, natural, and flexible. Think of them like little songs your mouth already knows how to sing. Write down 5 openers that feel comfortable for you, like, "Hi, nice to meet you." "How's your day going?" Or, "I really like your jacket. Where did you get it?" Practice saying them out loud every day, in front of the mirror, or even in the shower. Soon they will live inside your mouth, and you will open the conversation with confidence instead of freezing. Another powerful solution is visualization. This means imagining the situation before it happens. Why does this work like magic? Because your brain does not always know the difference between imagination and reality. When you imagine yourself speaking, your brain is already practicing without pressure. For example, before you go to a cafe, close your eyes for 2 minutes. Imagine the cafe, the menu, the smell of coffee, and then imagine yourself speaking. "Hi, could I have a coffee, please?" When you arrive at the real cafe, it won't feel new. It will feel like something you already rehearsed. This technique is especially helpful for learners who feel anxious. 2. Speaking techniques for fluency and consistency. Time boxing is a tool that helps maintain consistency. Many learners put big pressure on themselves, thinking they must practice for 1 hour every day. But the secret to fluency is not big blocks of study. It is small, regular moments of practice. Here's how it works. Choose a very small amount of time, like just 2 minutes. Set a timer, and for those 2 minutes, speak out loud in English. The topic doesn't matter. Talk about what you ate for breakfast or how the weather feels. What matters is that you speak without stopping. 2 minutes every day is 14 minutes a week, which is almost 1 hour a month. And most importantly, it is easy to continue. Use those 2 minutes to speak, and little by little, your confidence grows. Next, let's talk about chunk training. Most learners study English as single words, but when they try to speak, the words do not connect. Chunks are different. A chunk is a group of words that usually travel together, like a small family, such as, "Do you mind if I?" or "That reminds me of." When you learn chunks, you don't need to build a sentence word by word. You just take the whole chunk and drop it into the conversation, like using ready-made pieces of Lego. This is why native speakers sound fluent. If you collect 50 or 100 common chunks, you will always have something natural to say. 3. How to avoid pauses when speaking in English. Handling word block. This segment is dedicated to what to do when you can't remember a word and everything stops. 1. Use placeholder names. These are words that replace a word,
phrase, or name that you can't remember or don't know. They are used very commonly in informal speech. We use extensions of thing, such as thingy, typically for objects, like, the doctor gave me a thingy to help me deal with my stress. Other popular placeholders include thingamajig or thingamabob, referring to objects or people. For people, you might hear, what's her name or what's his name, or even, what's her face or what's his face. But be careful who you use those with, as they can be seen as rude. If you hear doodah or doodad, these are also placeholders, usually referring to people or things when you expect the listener to know who you mean. 2. Describe the word simply. Oftentimes, we overcomplicate things by wanting to find a very specific word. Instead, make a mental note to search later and just use a simple or generic term that is good enough in the moment. If you can't remember puppy, you could just say baby dog. If you can't remember pediatrician, say a doctor for children. This makes it very clear what you mean. 3. Describe the purpose or use. If the concept is a little more complex, describe what the item or person is used for. If you want a pencil sharpener but can't think of the word, say, oh, can you pass me that thing that's used for making pencils pointed? Or, if describing a librarian, say, they work in the place where you can borrow books. This makes it very clear what you mean. 4. Use approximations. This is when you use phrases such as, it's like, or it's sort of, or it's kind of like. For example, if you forget the word jumpsuit, you could say, it's kind of like a dress, but with trousers as well. Using these descriptive techniques often instigates a great learning opportunity, as your speaking partner can often help you find the exact word you were searching for. 5. The mindset shift. Perfection versus connection. The key to removing hesitation and moving past the fear of freezing is a fundamental mindset shift. Accept mistakes as teachers. Mistakes are not bad. They are an essential part of the learning process and help you move forward. The goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to make people understand you and achieve connection. Even native speakers pause, forget words, and say or while thinking, and nobody cares. Every mistake you make shows your brain what works and what doesn't. Don't let your wish to be perfect create problems that make you nervous or quiet. Speak first, even if you're not sure, because you improve by speaking, not by staying silent. Seek support and practice. Find a safe and encouraging place to practice your English speaking where you won't be judged, but supported. You can try speaking in front of a mirror or recording your voice to notice your progress. If you feel shy at first, recording yourself is a great tip. If you're having a conversation with someone, active listening and asking questions can take the pressure off of you to constantly produce content. Try asking open-ended questions like, what did you do over the weekend? Instead of, did you have a good weekend? You can also summarize or paraphrase what the other person has said to show you understand and encourage them to continue.
We've covered why you freeze, overthinking, fear of mistakes, the grammar monster, and translating in your head. We've given you ways to keep talking and avoid pauses using automatic openers, visualization, time boxing, chunk training, and excellent word replacement techniques like placeholder names, and describing the use of an object. The main message is simple. Just speak. Don't wait, don't hide, and don't overthink. Learning English is like football. You can't only read books or think about grammar all day. You must go to the field and play. Practice brings progress, not waiting. I hope you feel much more confident now. If you found this helpful, we would love a positive review. It makes it easier for others to find us. Before we go, here is your action step. In the next 24 hours, say at least one sentence in English to another person. Just one. Start small, because small practice grows into big fluency. Keep learning, keep practicing, and keep believing in yourself.